I did like that car.
That I bought like 2 other cars.
Yeah.
I actually had a Yukon,
Man, what a long day of driving it was today, but I mean, I think it's gonna be worth it. As you might have seen by the title, we essentially got a free truck. At least I shouldn't really be paying all that much money out of my pocket for it. And it's a pretty cool truck. It's a pretty sweet truck. Obviously, I'm gonna explain, it's not completely free, obviously. So what this is a, man, I don't even know the year. It might be like a 99 F350 Super Duty that's been axle swapped. So it's already got 05 Plus axles with a pretty sweet 4-inch Carli kit on it with the radius arms as well. And this sweet utility bed that I think looks pretty freaking rad. And I've never actually seen a utility bed like this one. Like I said, it's pretty freaking cool. Obviously, being a utility bed, it's got boxes, you know, everywhere. That's actually a pretty deep box right there. Oh, that's gonna be interesting. Oh boy, pretty deep box right there. Got another small box right there, and you know, all over the place. On the bed part of it, we've got some E-Track, another little toolbox right there. And then it's also been, what would this be, like 05 Plus front end swap? I'm pretty sure that's when these front ends started, right? Which in my opinion is the better looking front end. I think they look way better than the earlier ones. Another really cool thing about this truck is that it's actually a 6-speed manual, and it is the 7.3 Power Stroke. So pretty cool truck. The graphics, it's obviously a wrap, and it is a bit of an old wrap. There's definitely quite a bit of spots where it's coming undone, you know, as wraps do. But overall, like, the truck looks great. And again, super sweet truck. I've actually known this truck for a few years. The guy that built it is a buddy of mine here local, and he sold it a few months ago to another buddy of mine down in Havasu, Lake Havasu, which is kind of where this deal started. He bought it because he needed it for his business, but it didn't work out. After he brought it home, he noticed a pretty decent oil leak, like 7.3s like to do. And you know, things are getting super expensive nowadays, so you got a pretty high quote to fix that leak. Apparently the engine has to come out, and I don't know. And which is where I came in. So he knows me through the channel. We've kind of, before he bought the truck, we had been talking a little bit. He was looking at first for an OBS 05 Plus axle swap truck, but I didn't have anything at that point for him. He bought this, took it home, and the oil leak wasn't working. You know, you can't go to your customer's house and leave an oil leak, you know, in the driveway. So that didn't work out. So he ended up actually buying a second Super Duty that was much cleaner than this one, completely bone stock, and it was an automatic, which he was actually looking for. So what he decided to do was hit me up and ask me to essentially pull all the cool stuff off of this truck. So like the axles, pretty much, front and rear axles, all the suspension, and swap it onto his other truck that he has. And I will be keeping the actual truck itself as it is, minus, you know, the suspensions and axles, which is not a big deal. We have plenty of parts here that we can throw on this truck and swap it back again to 05 Plus axles. Now, the plan for this is going to be, however, so many of you have been asking us to make 05 Plus axle swap kits, and that is what we're going to be using this truck for. We are finally going to start doing 99 through 04, which is actually 99 through 2007 coil buckets and radius arms for these trucks, for the Super Duties, so that you guys can now, you know, buy an off-the-shelf kit to do your swap. Now, I've always liked being honest with you guys. You don't have to buy a kit to swap these trucks. These are 05 Plus coil buckets, same with the track bar bracket and the radius arm bracket, and all that stuff off of a Super Duty will bolt on to these trucks. So many of you guys, even though I've told you guys that, you still want a kit from me, which is amazing. Thank you so much. And again, the opportunity arose with this truck that not just fits the bill to be able to do the swap and use it as a candidate for that, but looks so freaking cool. Like, this is gonna be a truck that looks super cool on camera. So I think it's a great win-win. I do all the job, which, I mean, the free truck is, I'm sorry, more of a clickbait thing. I'm obviously gonna have to swap 2 trucks in order to, you know, earn or keep this truck. So it is gonna be a lot of labor, but it's, you know, my time. So not that bad, you know. I could be working on another truck, but we are gonna be working on this. The single cab is pretty much done. I haven't honestly been filming a lot on that truck. I just kind of wanted to get it done because I knew that this truck was coming in. The only reason why I haven't gotten enough to lift yet is because I still need to weld the 4 links as well as the traction bars. But tomorrow we are gonna finish welding the 4 links, take it off the lift since it doesn't have to be on there anymore, and drive that truck in and start tearing it down and kind of start doing R&D real quick, taking 3D scanning the frame, the parts that we take off, so that we can use that as the base for our parts. I think it was a pretty cool opportunity, really cool truck. It is kind of high mileage. It's got almost 350,000 miles, I think, on it. Also think it's kind of crazy that those trucks have a mechanical odometer while the OBS trucks have a digital one. Just a cool truck. It definitely has a couple flaws, more than one. And I hope you guys are excited too. One of my most common questions that I get is if I make kits for those trucks, and hopefully in the next few months, we will. Got this awesome opportunity, so we might as well do it. And for you guys that love supporting our business, you know, now we're gonna have something for you guys as well. So again, I'm super excited. I hope you guys are excited too. I think it's gonna be a really cool series, a really cool build, you know, getting to work on something a little bit different than an OBS, even though, I mean, you can't beat that. That thing is gorgeous. There's no better truck on this planet than an OBS. But yeah, guys, again, just a huge thank you. I really appreciate everything that you guys do for me. Okay, guys, so we are pretty close to being done with the single cab, at least for this go around. And one of the last parts that I needed was these here are new bolt-on axle side traction bar mounts. And these things, man, I am so happy with the way they turned out and how easy they are gonna make it for you to install your traction bars. This is essentially gonna be an entirely bolt-on kit. So let's go ahead, take a look at this part, get it installed on the truck, and get the truck off of the lift. Now remember, in order for these to be bolt-on, we had to go to the 2012 Plus U-bolts, which are a U-bolt over your leaf springs, as opposed to a U-bolt under your axle that these trucks originally came with. And that is a super, super easy swap. We just, well, for one, we had 2012 leaves laying around, so we just grabbed those and we were good to go. But if you do need to swap your U-bolts over, all you need is the 2012 Plus U-bolt plate that goes on top of your axle, and 2012 Plus U-bolts, which are they call them the semi-round or something like that. So not the square, not the round, the semi-round. You'll be good to go. Everything else, your block, everything else you can still use. So yeah. And now the actual bracket, like I said, super easy to install. One thing that I did have to do was grind these little ears off just a little bit, because I was having a hard time actually fitting the U-bolts since they're so much longer. And our blocks, as you can see, they're captured blocks. So yeah, we just had to trim that a little bit so we can come at an angle with the U-bolts in order to be able to install them. Yeah, baby. Oh yeah, baby. And once you have it installed, obviously go ahead and torque your nuts to factory specs, and then that's it. You're basically ready to install your traction bar. Now, unfortunately, your boy here, I forgot to get the right misalignment spacers for the Heims. Went to try and buy them locally at a store that said they had them in stock. Got there, they did not have them in stock. So now we're waiting for UPS to drop them off, which Should hopefully be in a couple of days. But for now, we really got to get this truck off the lift. So one of the things that I've been really trying to focus on and learn is how to do our own alignments. It's getting more expensive and harder to find shops that want to do these services for these trucks, especially being axle swapped. So I'm trying to find a really good way so that I can show you guys how to do it at home. And I think I finally found a way that I really like. So here pretty soon we'll be making a video on how to do your own alignment. Okay guys, so we are pretty much, well, to the point that we can take this truck out of here. I didn't finish it to the extent that I wanted to. I still gotta essentially make a whole nother kit, get that powder coated so that we can swap it out for this one. But we really needed to get that other Super Duty on the lift so that we can start that swap and we can start development on those kits. So let's get the truck out of here. I actually really want to get this truck right next to the other one and kind of do a comparison, because that one's also on a 4-inch lift, 4-inch lift and 37s. So I want to see what a 4-inch lift and 37s on an OBS looks like compared to a Super Duty. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay guys, so we got these two beasts side by side, and I honestly, I'm pretty impressed that, one, how cool both of these trucks look. I actually really like this truck, even though I'm not a big fan of the Super Duties. But I still gotta say, this thing takes the cake hands down. Way better looking truck and way meaner in my opinion. It's got a much better stance to it. I know there's going to be a lot of you that argue that this thing looks better, and I'm not going to argue back at you guys because it does look really cool, especially with that Carly kit, pin top kit that's on it. Now, my truck, I do gotta say, I absolutely love the way that the 4Link came out. Definitely really bummed out that we couldn't finish the traction bar setup on it. We gotta jump on the Super Duty and start the development of our kit. I'm super excited to get that going. Two really cool trucks, and I'm really excited for the opportunity to own this truck now and start using it to develop our kits. Again, the ultimate goal for me for this truck is honestly keep it with the off-road kind of theme that this truck is going, and I'm kind of picturing like chase truck vibes for it. So I think what I really want to do is a set of King coilovers on this thing on the front, and for the rear still not really decided, maybe some Devers, but that's going to be down the line. The first thing that we want to do is just kind of like how we started with these trucks, just your basic average axle swap kit, coil buckets, radius arms, track bar bracket, sway bar brackets. Well, actually, I don't even know if these things need sway bar brackets, honestly, but start with that and then move over to the coilover towers. And I actually really want to do a kind of like a low profile off-road oriented 4Link kit for this. So that's something that's also going to be kind of in the works along with for these trucks. Obviously we haven't forgotten about these trucks. We're going to be a lot of the stuff that we're going to be doing for that truck, we're also going to be doing for these trucks, since the platforms are so similar between the two. I'm kind of thinking about developing the parts at the same time for both of those, and kind of just adjusting for the different bolt patterns that the frames have. Such cool trucks, and they both ride so good. I took this on a little drive over to my friend's house, to Justin's house, and you got to drive through some dirt roads to get over to it, and it does so good. That Harley kit, those King shocks, the pin top works phenomenal on this thing. I'm honestly excited to get it swapped over to the new truck. We're gonna do a couple more touches on that truck to get it riding even better than it is right now. I'm also really excited to take my truck on a drive because we just took it out of the shop. Haven't really had it on the street yet. I still gotta bleed the brakes, so don't let me forget to do that before we take it out on the street. But just so excited to get my truck back. Again, super bummed out that we didn't have the time to fully finish it out. We are gonna be doing that though. Like I said, we're gonna make a new kit, get all that stuff powder coated, and then once we're done with these trucks, before we move on to the next one, we're gonna get my truck back on the lift real quick and just swap out the kits, put everything that's already powder coated, move on with it. But yeah, that's the plan. Okay, guys, we have this beast in the shop, and I'm so excited to get working on this thing. Again, like I've said, you guys have been asking me for actually years at this point to make a kit for these trucks, and obviously we have the perfect candidate for that. So I'm so excited to get working on that. One thing that I will say though is that it needs a newer set of Super Duty mirrors, because I freaking hate these round mirrors. I feel like the newer, more angular ones look a lot better. So that might be something that we end up upgrading down the line. But yeah, just so excited. And the goal is to get this thing, get the axles and everything off of the truck and onto its new axles, hopefully in one video. Because again, like I said, I want to do this kind of fast. So we can get the other truck on the lift, which I think you guys are actually really gonna like too. It's a really clean Super Duty, so I can't wait to have that truck, on this suspension. Oh, and also, by the way, that's kind of the leak, and that's just from the truck sitting there a couple hours. So, like I said, it is pretty bad. So we'll also take a close look and see what it is that's actually leaking on this thing. But yeah, guys, if you guys are excited for BDD to finally start offering All-Fight Plus axle swap kits for the Super Duties, leave a like, leave any comments that you might have down below. Don't forget to subscribe, because we're gonna be doing really cool stuff. So yeah, guys, again, just a huge thank you, and we'll see you in the next one. Okay, so hopefully this might give you an idea of how bad that truck leaks. So this car was driven by Adrian behind it on the way back because he was nice enough to go with me to pick up the truck. And I don't know if you can tell, but the windshield is covered in oil. When I first jumped in the car, I could see that there was specks on the windshield. I was like, what the heck? So I hit the windshield wipers to kind of wash the windshield, and it just made a mess. And then I realized that it was freaking oil all over the windshield. I'll show you guys later, but the whole underside of that truck right now is just coated in oil from how bad it leaks. So we are definitely gonna have to try and address that oil leak. Try and really pinpoint where it's coming from, and see how bad of a deal it is to fix it. Some people might not understand it. I know that a lot of you are gonna say, why the heck didn't he just fix it? And again, they quoted him, I think it was north of between 5 and 10, something like that, to fix that oil leak. And between him not wanting to pay the extra money to fix that oil leak and it being a manual, which he didn't really want. I remember that's something that he had told me when he was looking for a truck, that he really wanted an automatic. But obviously he found that truck and it's just so cool looking that he ended up buying it, since he found that second truck that was an automatic and much better shape. But it was just Sherry bone stock. It was just a better deal for him, to kind of take everything that makes this truck cool, at least the suspension wise, and put it on that other truck. And we're just gonna keep this one. So I think things work out. He's happy, I'm happy. And again, hopefully we get to make a lot of you guys happy with the 99 through 04 and Excursion axle swap kit. So yeah.